Okay, this is, if not the water heater, one of the water heaters. It's in the larger garage in the southeast corner. Our thermostat's at the water heater. Okay, we're going to be looking at a couple things, and some of these things are unique to the fact that we have a tankless water heater. All right, this exhaust fluid, I know it's nominal, I get that, but it's supposed to be positive direction. We're not supposed to have a negative pitch up here. We're not supposed to have that for the exhaust vent. All right, now speaking of exhaust vent, this is a tankless water heater. It's high efficiency. High efficiency tankless water heater on demand. And part of the deal with it being a high efficiency water heater is that it extracts all the heat that you create and channels that into the water that you're going to use instead of blowing it out the exhaust. You still have exhaust. There's still carbon monoxide in that. It still needs to turn in the right direction. All right? But the air, the exhaust fumes coming out through this, the temperature is going to be greatly reduced because we capture that heat, making it high efficiency, low energy. Now, when you do that, it creates a process called condensation. And that's what this is. All right? This is the port for your acidic condensation drain. It's supposed to come out of a tube. The tube's supposed to have a loop. It's supposed to go out, and if it goes out, depending on where you're at, you may even need a acid neutralizing filter. Without the acidic condensation draining off from this is in the instructions. This is what the manufacturer says. This isn't me. I didn't wake up this morning and said, you know that little thing on the side, I bet you I could just really... No. All right, the manufacturer says if this is installed inside, their instructions say you should have a condensate drain line. Otherwise, where does the condensate go? It goes down into your water heater, into the burner compartment. So these units, these are like Porsches, okay? They're not Ford Fieros, all right? You can't just abuse it and go to work every day. All right, it needs to be maintained. And so you take a unit that's perfectly maintained, it might last 15 years, maybe longer. No promises, no guarantees. But you've got the condensate drain coming through here, through the unit. It's a 5-year unit. You paid extra for a 5-year unit. And replacing this unit every 5 years, you're not going to save enough energy. It's past the point of diminishing returns. So no, that was installed wrong as per the manufacturer. As per the manufacturer, well, what about this? Well, that's your gas piping right here. See this right here? You can just bolt it up. You can bolt this thing up, and it'll work. And it'll probably save you some money if you had a conventional water heater you're comparing it to. But adjusting this with a manometer, like the plumber had one of those on his truck. If he does, it's all dusty and underneath the seat somewhere. But for the manometer, if you adjust this, then it would run more efficiently. All right? It would, save you pennies, dimes, day after day after day after day. As per the manufacturer, that was not installed properly. This installation is less than complete, incomplete, as per the manufacturer. Now we're going to go over here just a little bit more and jump around a little bit. But this right here is a screen. And this might seem like a no-brainer, all right? But this screen needs to be cleaned out once a year. And you use these valves to isolate them. You can find it on YouTube if you're hands-on. Or you can just get a plumber to do it. It's not going to cost a lot. Just flip, 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 take that out, clean it out, put it back in, and this unit will have a chance of possibly lasting 15 years instead of 5 years. If you don't clean this screen, it's a 5-year water heater. That's up to you. You don't change the acidic condensation, it's a 5-year water heater. That's up to you. That's up to you. Now on your drain piping, I've got a little bit of confusion right here. This is not a temperature pressure relief valve. It's a pressure relief valve. Okay, that's how the water comes out. All right? Too much pressure, the water comes out. We should have an air gap in the same room as the water heater for our pressure relief valve. Now, how would you do that? You got an air gap. You don't want water in here on the floor. How would you do that? If you put a safety pan underneath here, the drain would go down to the safety pan, then the safety pan would drain outside. That's economic, best practices fix. Some water heaters Tankless water heaters do not require a safety pin. And then other tankless water heaters do. And that's really be up to the manufacturer. If I can find the instructions in there somewhere, I might even read it. But safety pin, air gap. What do we learn? Negative pitch. Our acidic condensate has not been installed. Drain has not been installed. The gas supply coming into the water heater, it has not been dialed in. We do not have an air gap for our pressure relief valve. And then, by default, with the air gap, we do not have a safety pin.